Hello again. Few things are as exhilarating as getting to the top. Whether it's climbing the summit of a mountain, making a breakthrough discovery, or getting beyond superstition. But invariably, before we get to the top, we must experience what's at the bottom. Allow me to share an extraordinary story. Years ago, when working up through the ranks of the banking industry, I often questioned the system. Specializing in agricultural credit, much of my time was spent with family farmers. However, extending credit to family farmers was not all that I did. There was another side to my duties. I had to act as the final undertaker of family farms, or initiate the events that led to the closure of family farms. At first, I thought closing a family farm was an occasional anomaly. I was wrong. I was an executing agent for a financial process that dominated the rural landscape of America for the better part of 100 years. Since 1935, the peak year in terms of family farm numbers, 70% of family farms have been financially disposed of. Today, the nation is trying to come to terms with why the same malady has visited family businesses, core industries, jobs, and inner cities. It is also trying to come to terms with centuries of negligent ecological stewardship. Why have we been so busy financially disposing ourselves of each other and our planet? Are we unduly influenced by financial and economic superstition? So much so that we overlooked how the financial system encourages us to bring to an end the things in the world we love and depend on. The more closely one looks at the system, the more questions. Is our plight one of systemic proportions? Is the system compromised by corrupt personalities? Or are corrupt personalities the product of the system? I left a banking career to consult farmers and other businesses facing credit challenges. It would take a book to explain the chaos that engulfed my clients to the point of having to visit my office. I remember the year was 1984. Certain incidents within a bank I was working for led me to discover, unequivocally, that the system had no money at all. How could a system make it look like the world runs on money when the system had no money? How could this system without money make the world money crazy? I was unable to find textbooks or professionals who could help me. I found myself climbing this mountain of questions alone, picking up bits and pieces of answers along the way from others who had wrestled with similar questions. It was a constant brain teaser. The things I discovered conflicted with virtually every orthodox concept of economics, money, and capital. Was I going to stick to the conclusions of my original research, or fall back into the fog of superstition? Night after night were spent poring over technical treatises of the Federal Reserve Bank. Years went by following financial trends in banking and credit markets. Untold hours came and went trying to decipher how the interlocking machinery worked between banks, the Federal Reserve, and the U.S. Treasury that put forth a process of exchange that we call money. The questions would not stop. How does process become capital that then slowly strangles the world with debt? Why are our processes of exchange temporary and under orders of self-destruct based upon prearranged extinguishment schedules? I'm going to put in front of you a metaphysical riddle. The first time you hear it, it makes no sense. It will be one of the highlights of the monetary school as we solve this riddle. So here we go. The world attempts to conceptualize as money the processes of exchange sold to debtors by the monetary system. This is an intellectual impossibility. It is like trying to understand motion by conceptualizing a parked car. The world thinks its mental constructs of money and capital are the tools of progress, when in fact it has no tools and instead is embroiled in processes that drive the economy, social justice, and ecology into oblivion. The riddle begins to bring to light the civilized world's dilemma of trying to understand the monetary system and how the world works via conceptual superstitions about money. This futile exercise is polarizing the nation into anger, as it does not lead to any solutions. This is not a criticism, as education about the monetary system, not superficial constructs of money, is essentially absent from public education. I'm not sure when I began to get a top-of-the-world view of how civilization is organized. It was a function of finding answers to a number of key questions over a relatively short period of time. While I was not at the summit, it became clear that pursuing more questions and challenging more superstition would bear a tremendous amount of fruit. I began giving presentations after which people would line up for hours in the effort to get more of a view themselves. I realized that through the revelation of a few simple principles, supported by informal discussion and a few stories, other people could take a kind of gondola ride towards the summit. This is what we were striving to accomplish at the Monetary School. Getting out of the clouds of superstition is like being an astronaut that, for the first time, sees the entirety of Earth from space. Your heart is in your throat and you feel the destiny of mankind goes far beyond the fate of being chained to superstitious concepts of money and the degrading competition that ensues over insufficient volumes of monetary process. Competition that has pushed the collective activity of humans beyond the borders of sanity. We strive to compromise the ecology of Earth's so we can worship the playing of the game of Monopoly. Free of superstition, the mind is constantly visited with ideas and possibilities for peace and prosperity. But these ideas are more than one or even a dozen people can ever accomplish or even think through. However, if the view from the summit is shared with more people, things can be accomplished together in one lifetime that an individual could not accomplish in a million lifetimes. It is with this message that we extend a cordial invitation to attend the Monetary School. We guarantee an extraordinary journey into that which is mostly hidden. Intellectual fireworks as we challenge orthodox economic and financial concepts. There is even spirituality in the recognition that our future rests with the conscious coming together of peoples for the singular purpose of ensuring our collective survival. Another highlight of the school will be in its closing discussions as we explore bigger questions. Do we persist in pledging our energy to the game of Monopoly? Do we start moving away from the game to explore how to move our energy in a different venue? Do we encourage government not to put all of its eggs in the financial system basket? Do we change the organization of our energy along principles of higher spiritual and ecologic values? We look forward to your attendance and to meeting you personally.